already joined. Um, so what am I gonna do in this stream? I hope to do a few things. Number one, what I want to do is I want to talk about the last video that I uploaded, read some people's comments, and also I want to talk about something that I kind of learned, or maybe not learned, something that I was thinking about, and explaining why I believe I struggle with not having many friends in my life. I want to give kind of my explanation as to what my problem might be making friends. Other than that, I just want to say hi to you guys, talk to people who might be in the chat right now, answer some questions, um, just kind of, get say a few things here. Um, then just of course whatever else comes to mind. I think that'll be good. So we got a few people in the chat saying hi. We got Alyssa, Julie, uh, Kieran. All right, so I'll start with my last video. So I just uploaded a video yesterday, I think, where I made it, and it was kind of a little bit of a depressing video, not really a fun video for you guys. It was called "I Hate Myself Because I Can't Do Anything." Um, and just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up, um, I'll probably make a lot of videos that are about the same in the title and in what I talk about in the videos. A lot of them will be titled something along the lines of "I hate myself," "I hate my life." A lot of ones called like "I don't have friends," or "Why I don't have friends," or "Nobody likes me." Um, a lot of things, with the keyword social anxiety in the title, a lot of ones with depression, saying I'm depressed. And the reason for that is because these videos get the most views and bring in the most people to subscribe to my channel. So I want to kind of repeat the same keywords in the title. Um, but So this last one I called "I Hate Myself Because I Can't Do Anything," and I wasn't planning on calling it that before I made the video. I just turned on my camera and I decided that I was gonna walk through how I was feeling in that moment, which I realized after I watched the video, after I recorded it, that I began the video by saying that I wasn't doing very well, and then I went on to explain why I was feeling awful, like pathetic, why I felt like maybe like I can't do anything in my life, like I'm a loser, and just disappointed in myself. And I kind of went on to talk about that in that video. Um, and what I realized was that when I said like I wasn't doing very well, it was just I was having a moment where I was, my attitude, my overall feelings at the moment were not very good. But I do want to clarify that overall, I'm fine. And like, if there's any way that I could explain that to you guys in my videos, if there's any way that I could make that clear to you, that for the most part, I'm doing fine. And there's not really much that you guys have to worry about in terms of my well-being. I struggle with my self-esteem. I struggle with procrastination, not getting things done in my life. I struggle with my happiness and everything. But for the most part, overall, I do have a positive outlook on the future, what I project happening in my life and taking place. So let's see, how's the video doing? We got like a lot of people here already, so that's awesome. Maybe I'll have to start doing a Sunday, uh, uh, a Sunday stream like every week or something, because this is good. It's a good turnout. We got a comment saying, "I hope you read my comment on your last video. I really think it'll help." Yes, I will read that actually out loud during this stream because I do remember the comment that you left me. And I want to respond to a few of the comments because I think that if some of the comments that were on my last video are ones that I would like people to hear who maybe watched the video and didn't get a chance to read the comments, or I think that my response to some of them will be important. Alyssa asks, "Would you ever consider vlogging again?" Yeah, I mean, that's something that I have in the back of my mind or the front of my mind like all the time, is I'm thinking about like when I can vlog or how I can vlog. And that's one of the things which I have as a priority. And when I say it's a priority, I mean it's something that I really, really, really want to do. But I have found myself like struggling to actually do it because of procrastination, because of just not having not having really decided that I'm gonna do it for sure. Like for me, I found that I have to actually something has to like really like trigger me to start doing something, and I can't think of the best word to say. Like something has to like really stand out. Like I have to really have the conviction and the resolution that I'm gonna do something. Sometimes I just think I want to do something, but I don't actually decide I'm going to do it. So, you know, like part of my frustration right now going on in my life, and this is kind of what I touched on in the video that I uploaded yesterday, where I said that, I hate myself because I can't do anything. It's not that it's not that I don't believe in myself. But the thing that I struggle with is that I do feel like I have the potential. I feel like I have the capacity to grow. I feel like I can do anything I want. But the problem is I say I want to do something, but I never do it, and that's a real problem that I have. And that's something that I just continue to let myself down over and over and over again. And it's actually a, a matter of self-discipline. Like how many of you guys have particular discipline, self-discipline, like self-motivation? Like how do you guys have strategies that you use to make sure that you get done what you need to get done? Or how many of you guys really struggle with procrastination? Something that I've always wanted to do is like schedule out my days, and like I don't write down a to-do list. I don't like have any way of reminding myself to like get something done. And sometimes I just forget. I get distracted by other things, and that it's a problem for me. One of the problems that I have in my life is, you know, um, actually following through with plans and getting stuff done. So, yeah, that's kind of a something I did want to talk about because that's like one of my core issues that I have in my life, and I do want to talk about that a lot on this channel as I go forward. So let's go back to that video that I uploaded yesterday, and I'm just gonna you guys can you know read the comments for yourself. Um, but I'll click on the video right now, and I'm gonna read some of these comments here. Um, all right. So I'm on the video that I uploaded yesterday. Let me just set this up on my okay. So how are you guys doing? We got a bunch of people here. If you are just joining, feel free to say hi to me. Feel free to leave a comment or a question. I value all of your feedback, basically. So let's see. What do we got? Um, top comment. I'm just gonna read the comment section from. Okay, so the first comment says, I think this is a time for exploration for you. Possibly you're not good at anything, but this is the time to find out what you could excel in. You may lack talent, but you do, but what do you like to do? Figure out what you like to do and then practice it. So this is somebody on my last video who was writing a comment to me, and I just want to read these out loud to you guys, and then like kind of respond to them and kind of give you guys what my feedback is. So this person says, okay, yeah, you may lack talent, but do what you like to do. Figure out what you like to do and then practice it. For me personally, I thought YouTube was for me. It really stressed me out. I thought I liked rapping, but I couldn't think of anything to rap about. It would take me months to make a song. I thought I could be a singer, but realized I have a terrible voice. I eventually fell into entrepreneurial stuff and didn't figure anything out until I got into beat making that I found my passion. Figure out what you're passionate about. It's in your heart somewhere and it's undeniable. You're going to suck at first, but with enough practice, you'll be golden. Good luck. So this person was giving me advice, telling me that, hey, just do what you want to do, whether you're good at it or not. Find out what your passion is. It's basically the idea of figuring out what you're passionate about, which I I love this, this person who's trying to give this advice to me because it's something that I think is good advice for anyone, which is about, you might have ideas for what you think you're passionate about or what you really want to do, but once you actually start trying it out, you might realize, hey, I'm not very good at this, or this isn't going to really fulfill me at all. And maybe one thing will lead you to discovering other new things that you might want to do. It's just kind of a way of narrowing down and specifically figuring out what it is that you want to do with your life and what might be the best suited for you. I think that's something that I've had to go through in my life. I started with all these big dreams, and I thought I wanted certain things to exist for myself, and then I realized that it probably wasn't realistic, and I changed, where I put all my energy into what I wanted to do. You know, yeah, you just learn a lot about yourself, I guess, right? So let's see, what do we got in the comments here on this in the chat here for this live stream? We have, do you have an Instagram, Twitter we can follow? Yes, I do have a Twitter. Twitter link is Kenneth Stahl with a one behind it, the number one. I have a Facebook, which is probably a good thing if you have a Facebook to like my page, Kenneth Stahl. I think it's actually facebook.com/the Kenneth Stahl. Um, I can't like my YouTube channel is Kenneth Stahl one with a one behind it. For some reason, somebody already has Kenneth Stahl. Somebody already has Kenny Stahl. It's just hard. I have an Instagram account. I can't remember what it is, but I haven't uploaded any pictures, so don't even bother following me on Instagram. Um, let's see, what do we got? I just force myself to do something while I have the thought. For example, I think, hey, I need to clean my room. I just do it then to get it out of the way. Yeah, I think that's something that I've learned to be a very useful tool and strategy for getting stuff done in your life instead of procrastinating. It's right immediately when you see that you need to do something, just go do it. Because if you don't do it right away, if you struggle with procrastination like I do, if you just do it immediately and get it over with quickly, you're going to be way more satisfied. What I found is that, like there are moments where, I'm a very messy person. Like I don't clean up after myself. And this is something, probably a problem that I've had for my whole life. Maybe my parents didn't really get after me that much as a kid to clean up after myself. I would say that a lot of things about myself, a lot of things about other people are just, really extensions from how you were raised. And I think that's why parenting is a really big deal, and or at least not parenting in specific, but what you learn and how you grow up as a child, I think plays more of a significant role in the outcome of who you are in your adult life than what you might think. And I'm really fascinated by the growth of human individuals from their adolescence to from their childhood up to their adulthood. So for me, I definitely lived with a mom who was like probably one of the most just kind of careless when it comes to cleaning up after herself. We would have you know, uh, I'm not trying to, say anything bad about those of you who are watching who also have, really messy and filthy living situations, because I'm the same way. Like I don't bring my camera out with me into my living room or into my kitchen for the simple reason that I don't want to show you guys what my place looks like out of embarrassment. Like I don't clean my dishes right away. I leave certain things out. Like I have clothes all over my room on the floor, which no, not really all over, but a few things here and there. Um, Laundry is just a mess for me. I don't know. It's just awful. It's very embarrassing. But what I found is like, when I have to do something like clean, is I have to tell myself like you're gonna be more upset at yourself for not doing this than for actually like recently I have had problems with my car, my vehicle. It's been having lately, like I've had to get a few things done on it, and I kept like I needed to get an oil change for my vehicle, and I just kept like I would see the change your oil light signal on in my vehicle, and I'll just be like, well, I can go a couple more weeks. I don't have to do it right away. How many miles, have I driven? Whatever. And it's just like I need to do it sooner. So anyway, basically, just when you have the idea of what you want to do, just get it done right away. Let's see, what other comments do we have? Alyssa saying, thank you for putting yourself out there because it helps others along the way too. Awesome. I will talk more about that in a minute, probably. Um, let's see. You can only trust your present self is my mantra. That's a good piece of advice. Let's see. We have I'm just inorganized. Then we have my mom cleans my room. Otherwise, it would be a jungle. And then sometimes my mom cleans my room too. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my other video that I uploaded yesterday called "I Hate Myself Because I Can't Do Anything" and just talk about some of the comments we have. So we have this comment from saying you can do everything if you put yourself out there in the world and fight your fears, because our fears is our biggest enemy, and I think that your fears are the only thing holding you. So try to get out of your comfort zone and fight those fears. We believe in you. So that was the comment that you had in the chat right now that you wrote to me. So thank you so much for writing that comment. Like I didn't respond to it directly. I had some sort of a problem when I was trying to respond to comments yesterday. I only got like a couple of them that went through for some reason. So I love that comment, just talking about, really your fears are what holds you back, and that there's so much that you can gain just by stepping out of your comfort zone. I think what's true for a lot of us is we have these fears, these anxieties, these things that worry us. And when we let those fears and when we let that worry stop us from taking the action in our life, which would actually be good for us, it's very, people don't always consider the the magnitude of the level of influence that like your thoughts and your beliefs, your fears, your worries, like your motivations. We don't give ourselves enough credit for how our psychology and our mind really controls our behavior. We like I was just talking about, like disciplining yourself. When do you take action? To what do you procrastinate? Do you do stuff right away? Do you let things get unorganized? Do you let your fears stop you? That's another one. I think a lot of us don't give enough credit to our to you know how much we're influenced by that kind of stuff. So if there's any way that you can identify a fear that you have, if there's any way that you can identify, and this takes a lot of self-awareness. This is why I try to talk my way through all of my thoughts. This is why I try to articulate what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling. If I'm like this last video that I uploaded yesterday was called "I Hate Myself Because I Can't Do Anything," and what I was trying to do in this video was articulate and speak out loud to explain and try to understand myself, try to understand exactly what it is that I'm feeling, because I feel like if I don't really have the ability to comprehend and understand how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking exactly, I'm never going to be able to actually see the problem that I have. And if I can't see the problem I have, how am I ever supposed to take any sort of action to overcome those problems? How am I ever supposed to um, actually be able to fix what's going on if I don't know what's actually the problem is? So that's why I walk through all these things with you guys in my videos. So yeah, so I mean, if you can identify any fears that you have, then you can. If there's any way that you can just say, okay, I'm afraid to do X or Y or Z, right? I'm afraid to do A, B, or C. What is it possible for me to just be able to override that fear and force myself to step out of my comfort zone and challenge myself? Because there's so many things in your life that you really want for yourself, but and you say, I'm not going to be happy unless I do something really amazing, unless I do something great. But the thing is, if you if you set up that standard for yourself, if you say I'm not going to be happy unless I get a girlfriend or get a boyfriend or whatever, and yet you're afraid to talk to girls or you're afraid to talk to other guys, and you're letting your fear prevent you from meeting people, but yet you say that you're not going to be happy unless you do meet someone. Like I hope that you can see kind of the problem there is, like, you're saying you're not going to be happy unless you do something, but the only way that you're going to be happy is if you actually learn how to overcome your fears of talking to someone else and meeting them. And you need to step out of your comfort zone sometimes in order to be happy. You need to step out of your comfort zones at some points in order to be successful. So I always say that, all the things that you want in life are outside of your comfort zone. So the more you're willing to explore, the things that you're not used to doing, like what do you do all the time, every day, what is your routine, what is your comfort zone, what are the things that you find easy to do, and start looking at thinking about the things that challenge you, the things that make you step outside of your normal routine, and just start experimenting. That's something that I actually don't do enough of. So I'm saying this as if I'm like preaching about it, but really I need to be listening to this myself. Let's see. Have you watched the recent Elias Hulse videos? Yes, I actually have. I'm subscribed to Elliot Hulse. He's one of my favorite YouTubers, one of my favorite people to listen to. I love, the one thing about Elliot Hulse, which has stood out to me, the one thing that I really took away from watching his videos, he has a lot of brilliant things to say, or a lot of really good things to say. But the one thing that I think makes him unique compared to a lot of other people is he really talks about the physiological way to change your mood. In other words, if you want to feel good about yourself, if you want to be in a better mood, if you want to find yourself having more energy, you have to first, if you want to have a healthy mind, if you want to be, if you want to change the way that your mind is, what you have to do first is work on your body, exercising, getting enough, whether it's sleep or water. Like if it wasn't for Elliot Hulse, I probably wouldn't be drinking more water. Like today, I drink probably, I don't know, 4 of these a day. I should probably drink more of this. But here's the problem that I've had in my life, and this is like um, 6 months ago is when I really started focusing on drinking more water because it's healthy. I would not drink water. I would drink soda. I would drink so much soda, and I realized how bad that was for me and how it really did affect my mood. And when I started focusing more on my body and the nutrients and the food I was eating and how much water I had, it really did make a difference for my mental health. So that's something, the biggest takeaway that I've had from him and his videos. But also, like, he also says, like, hey, if you're depressed, one of the things I remember him saying is, depression, the opposite of depression is expression. So in order to change the way that your state is, you have to change the way that you are, that change the way you are being. Instead of being depressed, be more expressive, be more, explosive, be more like just open your mouth and say something really loud and move around more. Like make yourself do all that stuff because by doing that and exercising, you're gonna change. Um, yeah, you're gonna change the way you feel. So that is one thing I took away from him. All right, so what do we got? Uh, Random, but one thing I like to do is write down stuff I want to accomplish and say it out loud and put it out in the universe so it can come back. I like that idea too. I mean, basically, you have to be able to really understand what you want out of your life, what you want to accomplish, and if you can write it down on paper, if you can say it out loud, if you can, better yet, even to go a step further than that, if you can actually tell one of your friends or your family members what you want to do, that might keep you even more accountable than just having it written down. But yeah, always reminding yourself what you want to do is very very important, because it keeps you on track basically. All right, let's go back to my video that I uploaded yesterday and read some of the comments. All right, let me click on it real quick. Okay, um, Kieran said, "You can do amazing things, Kenneth. You just have to believe in yourself." I've had a few comments here saying something about believing in myself. Um, okay, then here's a big piece of criticism that I received from one of the subscribers who I recognize as the elusive optimist, and she kind of, I think it's a she, I don't know, criticized me a little bit, saying, "Kenny, you think too much. Only you can make the positive changes in your life. What do you really like in life besides YouTube? Life is precious, including yours. Perhaps getting away from YouTube for a while. Envy and jealousy is not a good thing. You seem to be a good guy. Act on it. Do something good for you and or others. Join a club or something. Stop having a pity party." She said, "We like you, but sometimes you come across like a whining baby. The fact is you are an adult with responsibilities. Make yourself happy. Making yourself happy is one of uh, your responsibilities. We can give advice, but we are limited in making you change for the better. If you love yourself, which we think you do, make a serious decision to change. God bless you in this endeavor. You can do it. Have fun. You deserve it. Find your passion for fun. So a little bit of a criticism. When I first read it, this comment, and of course, it made me a little bit more self conscious of. Uh, I get a little bit self conscious of my videos because I realized that how I come across in my videos, it does it does look like in my videos that I'm making my problems, like my self-esteem issues, like when I say I hate myself, that's kind of dramatic. Like it is kind of dramatic for me to say like I hate myself, I feel like a loser in my life, and I'm depressed, or I can't ever do anything in my life. And it makes me really self-conscious of like how I present myself to you guys, because I don't want you guys to feel like I'm in an awful situation, because I feel I'm very sensitive to the idea that there's so many people out there in the world, and some of these people are watching my videos who have extremely difficult lives. And my life isn't difficult, but I have a lot of personal obstacles for myself to overcome, dealing with my own expectations I set for myself. A lot of you know, uh, like I struggle a lot with you know different like ways that I perceive myself, basically, I guess. um so when I make all these videos where it's like, if you just keep seeing me post videos every single week saying I hate myself, everything's awful, it does probably seem like I'm complaining a lot, and I don't want that to be the way it is. So um I don't want you guys to think that I'm just complaining. Like, I do take responsibility for the way that my life is. The problem that I think I really struggle with is like, okay, I see how I'm supposed to change. I see what I'm supposed to be doing, but it's one thing to understand what would be best for me, and it's another thing to be able to actually make that happen. Like, how do I actually change? Like, how do I actually, like, because if this is just the way that I am, if I'm just this kind of way all the time, really depressed and negative and kind of this dark and gloomy attitude, how am I supposed to actually be different? And that's kind of a difficult thing to be able to understand, because if I could just figure that out, I mean, wouldn't that be the solution to all my problems? If I could just snap my fingers and be better, I mean, I would love to do that. If I could take a magic pill to just be happy, if I could take a magic pill that would just change my ultimate, like, everything about me, would I do it? I mean, I would do it so I wouldn't be depressed all the time, but I kind of like having this uh, uh, like, I don't know what it's like to be any different. So like I kind of like some of the positive things that come out of this, which is like, hey, I'm more self-reflective and I have more self-awareness than I think a lot of people do, because I take a lot of the time to think about things. But the problem is, like, this comment said, I do overthink. That is a problem I have. I mean, how many of you guys struggle with overthinking, but I enjoy it. So I don't know, like, I don't know if what much I don't really know what else I can say about that, actually. So next comment saying, I feel you. I feel like I can't do anything in this world. No friends, no social life, no talents, and no future except my lousy job at McDonald's. Had to drop out of college in debt over my ears. It's so hard to even think about positive things. I feel like it's never gonna get better. Okay, so this is somebody's comment on my last video. So let me just respond to that. It sounds like this person is going through um, a lot of, the same kind of things that I think I would say, where it's just like, man, nothing is good for me, nothing's going good. And whenever I catch myself saying stuff like that, like saying, hey, I have nothing in my life, it's never gonna get better, I have to remind myself that that is not the right way to think, because there are things in my life that I am thankful for, that I'm just choosing to not, maybe not directly, consciously choosing, but subconsciously, like, I'm choosing to just ignore all the good things about my life, which there are many good things about my life. There are many things I should be thankful for. And it's actually a very important exercise for all of us to actually sit there and try to think about what we are happy about, what things are good in our lives. And so many times we can just take all the negative stuff, all the things where you're like, oh man, my life sucks, I have nothing, things are never going to get better. And you can let that become the ruling way of thinking in your mind. You can let that dominate your thoughts and your attitudes. And when you let that dominate you, that really puts a filter on the way that you perceive everything in the world, everything in life. And that kind of um and that kind of um that kind of thing, it's not necessarily a wrong thing. Like, okay, we got actually that person in the chat right now saying that's my comment. So what good things do I have? I don't know, what good things do you have? I mean, you have to be able to find that out for yourself. Like for me, um you know, like I dropped out of college too, you know. um but obviously the being in debt is something that, you probably have more of a unique experience with other than me. I also have a job which is lousy. You work at McDonald's, I work at a place which, is very similar to that. Um, no friends, no social life. I mean, I could say the same thing about myself. I could say I don't have any friends. I could say I have no social life. I could say I have no talents. In fact, I think I have said that, which is why I'm sure why you felt comfortable enough to share that with me, because, I shared that with you in my video. Um, it is hard to think about like what the positive things are though, when it seems like the negative stuff just overwhelms you, when it seems like the negative stuff is there. So, I think it's one of these things like it the one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to sit here and say, "Hey, quit being a baby. There are good things that you have," like what I've heard other people comment on my videos when they watch me say this exact same stuff. People have said, "Hey, quit being a baby." People have said, "Hey, you're a whiny little bitch." I've had people say that to me, and that stuff is not helpful. Why is it not helpful? Because there is actually some sort of truth in it, and if you deny someone their real feelings, it is something that's not even it's not even going to help at all. So, uh, I think the way to go about it is recognizing what has put you in the place where you're at, and then trying to figure out what you can do to get out of it or to take steps in the right direction without overwhelming yourself. It's just very important to not let all the stress in your life overwhelm you. And when you let it overwhelm you, you lose your power. You lose the strength that you have to make yourself better. And it's one of these things where, it's just a matter of emotional and mental strength to uh, you know, like how much weight can you carry on your back before you collapse? And I think that, you know, there are real things that people go through which are terrible and awful, and they're not good situations. But um, I don't know. Like when you're kind of dealing, when you're actually like struggling with all this stuff on your own, when it's like you feel like you don't have very many people in your life to like support you, like that's what makes this even harder. Is it's like, how do I deal with myself? How am I supposed to handle all like not having anything in my life? How am I supposed to handle having a lot of bad stuff going on? And this is it's something that I go through, and I'm still like, you can tell, like I'm still like trying to figure out what I'm supposed to say right now because I don't know. Like, can I just say that? Like, can I just say I really don't know? Like, can I say that? Because I don't know. I don't know what to do, but I know that there's a problem, and I know that there is some way to like get through this, to be more positive, to believe in yourself, to have hope that things will get better. But I just don't. It's so hard for me to figure out, how do you actually get in that state of mind, because I know that that's the only way that you're gonna have any way of changing is to stop focusing on the negative and begin being thankful for what you have in your life. And you have to be able to find that for yourself. Like, I can't do it. It might not be easy to find, but there is good stuff that is existing in your life. Um, and just dealing with it and making sure that you're strong enough to get through it. I mean, I don't know. You know, I'm spending a lot of time on this because it's an important thing. It's what I relate to a lot. But yeah, I mean, I am struggling trying to figure out what to say in response to the comment. Let's see. We got. I hate the fact that I'm so young, but I live like an elder lady. I don't know what that means. Then we have, hi, how are you? I don't know if you're asking that to me or everybody else, but I'm doing okay. Um, uh, let's see. How much do you think physical appearance plays in part of someone's success, especially in um an ever superficial society? Could you be the ugliest fucker ever and be genuinely successful in all fields? I mean, you probably can't be a model, but if you're not very good looking, I mean, what's that saying? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I mean, it is just a matter of overall like social um norms. Like, what is normal? Like, there's probably got to be some sort of biological evolutionary reason why we're attracted to certain things, like being well groomed and being thin and being having a nice fit body. But I mean, when it comes to physical appearance, does it really play a role in someone's success? I think that most success that you could ever achieve in your life hardly has much to do with where you start from, but it really just plays a role in what you do about it. And I don't think that there's a person alive who is so ugly that they can't be successful. Like, you might be not the most attractive to the most amount of people, to the average person, I should say. You might be below average in terms of physical appearance, but I don't think there's any way that you could be an extremely unattractive person and then that's going to stop you from being successful. Like, it might be hard to break into, like, being a model, being on covers of magazines and stuff like that, but I mean, you do need to take a little bit of self awareness and realize I'm not the most attractive people to the most amount of people. So why can't? So, like, why would you like try to do that? And if you really did want to be a model when you're not the most attractive person, you would have to actually start up your own like own magazine or something, which features people that aren't normally considered physically attractive. So it's kind of an interesting question. I just want to play around with what I thought about it. Um, let's see. I can touch the positive mindset for a minute, but then I fall back into depression. That is something that I can relate to a lot. I think that I'm actually very similar to you in that way. Like, I get bursts of like moments in time where I feel extremely well. I feel extremely good about myself. I reach a positive mindset, but then yeah, just I feel like I get sucked back into this negativity where I feel like I don't have anything, and I recognize the problems that exist in my life. Like not having friends, or like, shit, I dropped out of college. Like, that's not good. Um, you know, I think I've. How old are you? Because you seem to be like, you might be older than me, or you might be at least around my age. I don't know. Um, in like, I feel like I kind of have to just think to myself, like, things are like amazing for me, but I'm only 21 and I can't just give up. Things will get better over time. If, like, it doesn't matter how bad things have gone in your past, you can always change things right now. Like, here's the thing, you know what? Finally, like I finally get a chance to say this because I've been wanting to say this in one of my videos, and I've been struggling. So this is what I realized. This is what I realized. Um, so I look at a lot of things that we a lot of things that we get unhappy about, a lot of things that make us depressed, is the fact that we lack something. We feel like we're empty, that we need to have something. And whether that's friends, whether that's money, whether that's happiness and fulfillment, whether that's some sort of meaningfulness in our life, whether that's, a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, whether it's a job, whether it's like friends, fun, excitement, whatever it is. If you think about those different items, if you think about those different things as resources, think about them as resources. And of course, money actually is a resource, but even friends, think about them as a resource. And you can measure the amount that you have of it. Okay. Well, maybe that is fun. Maybe that is something else. So you have, so I would say a lot of us are depressed. A lot of us are negative because we say, well, I have no friends. I have no money. I have nothing to do in my life. I have no good job. I don't have anything. I don't have much in my life. And you say I have nothing. The thing that I realized is when it comes in relation to how old I am, like I'm 21 years old, I think I've identified that for the past several years of my life, I've said I don't have friends, I don't have money, I dropped out of school, I don't have a lot of this stuff, I don't have a lot of fun. But the thing that I kind of constantly realize is instead of saying, well, there's no hope for me, like I should just give up, I'm never going to have any of that stuff. Instead of saying I'm never going to get that stuff, think about it in terms of it doesn't matter if you go 10 years of your life from the age of 15 to 25 being dead broke, having no money, having zero like money in your bank account. If you wanted to, theoretically, at the age of 25, you can all of a sudden go from being dead broke to being a millionaire. You can go from being dead broke to having all the money in the world. If you look at these things as being a resource. So the way that I think about it with depression is I've identified with having depression for the past 4 or 5 years and having no friends for the past few years, at least in my life. But if I think about having friends as a resource, hey, I could have zero friends for the next 2 to 3 years of my life or 5 years. But at any given age, it can just instantly change. Like, think about that. Like, you can't just give up on the possibility. You can't just give up on the potential that you're going to be like the way you are forever. You can't just give up on the possibility that one day you will get all those things that you want to have. The same things that you're complaining about right now about not having, those things you can get at some point if you think about them as a resource. And think about like I complain a lot right now about not having a lot of fun in my life because I spend all my time inside my own house. I don't ever go out and party with people. I don't ever go out and go to the movies or go to an amusement park. I don't ever go to do like a concert. I feel like the fun that I would experience by going to these places, which usually it's a financial reason why I don't go because they cost money and I want to save my money. But when what ends up happening is over time it builds up, and I feel like, man, I'm not having enough fun in my life. And that not having excitement and joy from going out and doing stuff causes me to feel a little bit depressed a little bit. So you follow me? Um, so what I could say is like, man, I haven't really had that much fun for the past year or so of my life. But if you think about it, at any given moment in time, from this moment in time to the future of my life, one day I can just automatically and just randomly get to experience a string of just experiences which are fun. And so when we say we don't have anything at this point of our lives, you might not have something today, but 5 years from now, you can get all that stuff that you want. It's not going to happen just randomly. Like it's not just going to happen without you doing something to cause it to happen. But if you choose to live your life saying, I'm never going to get all those things that I don't have, then, oh, well, maybe you're not going to because you're not allowing yourself to get those things in the future. But so just what I'm saying is like, you can't just give up hope on yourself because you don't have something today. Um, let's see, what do we got in the comments? Uh, this channel is good therapy for you. Just stay positive. At least keep trying. Thank you so much for your comment. This channel is good therapy for me. This allows me to explain and articulate like exactly what I think and what I feel, and it helps me out. So yeah, and I hope that other people watching who relate to it can get some sort of benefit from this as well. Then we have I never really thought of it that way. I appreciate you expressing your ideas to us. Well, I mean I'm trying. Yeah. All right. It's been 45 minutes. Um, let's see. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to read all the comments that I have on this other video. Let's see. In the chat here, we have Unlost saying a lot of depression is triggered by thinking you're unworthy. Even when you have friends, you feel like you're a burden to some extent. Realize that in itself is created in your head, and know your worth. Yeah, that is a good point. I mean, when you feel like you're unworthy, um, when you feel like you're not worth anything, that you're worthless, when you feel like you don't deserve the things that you have, um, what you're doing, I would say, I mean, this is just my thoughts. This probably isn't the most accurate way of explaining this, but when you say that you're not worth something, you're putting a value on yourself. And when you put a value on yourself, when you have that judgment, because really what it is a judgment thing, right? If you let, like, here's the thing. Sometimes you can let other people affect how you feel about yourself. If someone was to look at me and say, point their finger at me and say, "Hey, Kenny, you're a loser." Do I let what that person says, affect how I feel? Because they are judging me. They're casting their judgment on me. They're saying what I am. They're determining what my value is, what my worth is, based on their own criteria. And if that matters to me, all it takes for that to not matter is for me to be like, I don't care what they think. Fuck their opinion, right? That's why a lot of people have this really hard attitude, which is like, fuck everybody, what they think about me. I don't give a fuck what people think. Like that kind of attitude like that. That's actually a very, if you think about that attitude, it makes a lot of sense because it saves you all of the like self pity and feelings of like, worrying about what other people think about you. I worry all the time about what other people think about me. And sometimes I'm like, what if I just had that attitude, which is like, I just don't give a fuck in my life? Like, like even stepping out of your comfort zone and overcoming fears. Like, how many times would so many of my problems just be not even problems if I just said, I don't give a fuck right now what I do and just go and do what I want to do? It would probably solve a lot of my problems. So, how do you get to that point, right? And back to what you said, you said that a lot of our depression can be triggered by us thinking that we're unworthy. I mean, that is us placing a judgment and a value on ourselves. So if we can, if we can possibly come to feel and believe that maybe there is no way that we can even put a value on ourselves, like our self-esteem, like I think, what is the actual definition of self-esteem? I should probably look that up. Self-esteem definition, Google it. Confidence in one's own worth or abilities, self-respect. So yeah, I mean, basically, self-esteem is, you know, what you feel your own worth is. All right, so that's why this is like one of the like most important topics that I could talk about on my channel is self-esteem, because that is essentially what a lot of people are talking about. Like it's feeling like, so that is something that actually I should probably consider more of, is the relationship between self-esteem and depression. I think that depression in many ways can just be simply caused by a psychological, like a neurological, explanation for it. What's the neurological explanation for depression? Not enough. What is it? Serotonin? Is it serotonin, or is it dopamine? What's the difference between serotonin and dopamine? I don't even know. Um, I don't even know what those are. I'm trying to look that up right now. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins. Okay, there are many things responsible for happiness. Many situations can trigger these neurotransmitters, but instead of being in the passenger seat, there are ways you can intentionally cause them to flow. Hacking Your Happiness Chemicals. That's like an ad. Why am I reading an ad? mentalhealthdaily.com, depression daily, dopamine versus serotonin. Based on your symptoms experienced as a result of lower levels of dopamine, it is thought that dopamine plays just a big role as serotonin in treating depression. Why then are medications used to treat depression primarily dealing with targeting serotonin? Okay, so most depression medications deal with serotonin. Basically, my point here is that you know there is an explanation as to why am I depressed? Well, there's a physical neurological explanation, which is the reason that you're depressed is because of not enough serotonin or too much serotonin or whatever, right? So if it's just as simple as saying I'm depressed because my body, my neurology isn't up to par, I'm gonna say, well, then what everybody's like my way of viewing this is like if it is just a matter of neurology, everyone who's depressed simply needs to solve the problem by taking medication and trying to, you know, get the right drugs in your system or at least change your neurology. Like we should all be focusing on that instead of talking about our feelings. But here's something that's fascinating me, which is that it's not just about your neurology. It's also about your cognitive way of thinking, right? Your This is why we have cognitive behavioral therapy, which is what basically I'm participating in as a result of you know um, having this channel and that's what I'm most fascinated about is what do you think, why do you think it, how can you change your thoughts and attitudes and stuff like that. um, this is stuff, by the way, if you're just now hearing about this stuff for the first time and you don't really know much about it, look into it because I can't really explain this stuff. I'm an idiot when it comes to understanding all this. I'm learning as I go about all this stuff. I should probably take more extensive research into it, but it's fascinating, right? Isn't it? So basically, back to what my main point that I'm trying to make here is that depression isn't just about serotonin and dopamine. It's also about uh, your self-esteem and how you perceive your life, what your views are. Do you feel like you have nothing in your life? Are you putting judgments? Are you determining your own value based on words basically, and ideas and memories? You know, isn't you know So I'm just fascinated with the link between depression and self-esteem. That's what I got out of that. So let's go back to other stuff I can talk about. I'm gonna skip a lot of the comments that are on my old video from yesterday. I wanted to respond to all of them, but there's like so many of them, and I only got through like half of them or a few of them. A lot of people are just basically saying, that they really are happy that I'm sharing what I share in these videos. Um, I can truly relate, and by listening to your talks, it makes me realize I'm not alone. You mentioned to just love yourself unconditionally, and that's a very beautiful message you're sharing. Uh, let's see. I don't mind your depressing videos at all. I'd actually be less interested in entertaining ones because I don't know, there are just like a zillion YouTubers, and your vids are where I go when I'm feeling down, unmotivated, because I know you're not going to be super happy. That's not saying I am pleased by your suffering. Just sometimes a person wants to talk or be talked at by people who are a little more relatable. The last thing I want to see when I'm in a bad mood is someone who is 100% loving life to the max that's obnoxious. That's what I feel too. Like when I get depressed, um, if someone's just in a really positive mood and they're loving their life, and they want to tell me how to feel good, it's like I respect someone more to be like, hey, the truth is, yeah, life sucks, but here's what you can do about it, right? You don't want someone saying, hey, that depression, that self pity that you have, that low self esteem, don't be like that. Just don't be like that. You got to be happy. You got to be all you got to be all having fun and you want to rock out and live your life, dude. Come on, man. Everything's great. Isn't life beautiful? It's like, no, life isn't beautiful. That's what I'm having a problem with. I fucking hate myself. I hate life. It's all awful. I have this dark and gloomy view of the world. So that's why, you do. That's why, people who are depressed, I think they've done studies on this. What do people who are depressed choose to do? They tend to reinforce their behavior. They tend to listen to sad music. They tend to listen to depressing songs. And it's like, why do people do this who are depressed? Wouldn't you think that someone who's depressed is going to want to listen to music which is more uplifting and positive and having inspiring messages? Now, sure, we do, right? We do listen to that kind of stuff, right? I think most of us enjoy beautiful, inspiring, positive, uplifting material, whether it's people speaking or whether it's music. But what studies, and I'm not, obviously, I can't cite my sources because this is all just, this is just, don't take my word for it. But what I've heard is that there are studies that have shown that people who are depressed just tend to go back to the behavior which reinforces their depression or doesn't actually, change, much. And yeah, so people like to, this is why I think a lot of people do like my videos and they want to watch and hear what I have to say because I speak in a way which, is relatable. But what I hope to do on my channel and in my videos through these live streams is take an honest approach to saying, hey, yeah, this stuff is real. Like, I actually do feel awful at times. I do feel worthless and I do feel hopeless. I do have depression. I do suffer because of my low self-esteem and social anxiety and not having friends. Like, that's all real. And I think that what I try to do is work out what the problem is and then try to figure out how do I solve these problems. I think I'm actually a person who likes to problem solve. And by giving myself problems to consider, to try to work out in my head, to try to solve, I like what problem solving is, and I like to solve different problems. So that's why I try to work through and understand what people go through when they have depression, when they have social anxiety, when they have an unfulfilling life. It's okay. How do you take someone who's suffering, who's going through all this, and how do you help them overcome the problem? But yeah, so there's my answer to that. That was a great comment that person left on my video. That was actually really recently. That was from 9 hours ago. So let's see. Oh, on that same note, the next comment on that video, I'm reading comments from my video that I posted yesterday. And then Frank P, actually going off of what I just got done saying, says, don't be discouraged. Self-recognition is the process by which you recognize the problem. See, that's exactly what I just said. I'm trying to recognize the problem that I have by working through it as I explain things through my videos. Anyway, his comment says, as they say, knowing the problem you have is half the battle. So your words resonate with me because it makes sense with how I have felt. However, as much as I've wanted to change for the better, it really takes some acting and courage on making oneself better. Courage, as a therapist told me, is finding the courage to do the right thing despite fear or pain. I would like to act on bettering myself. I've never really lived as I have thought before and experienced a fulfilling younger adulthood. I totally just did not read that properly. Okay, continuing on. Some tell me to continue. Some I'm failing at reading this comment. Some tell me to become a man, but I am a child at heart and want to enjoy life. You are, in a way, a culmination of your achievements in the eyes of others and your life experiences. But it's a matter of some commenters here have said making yourself happy and following your passions. I'm glad to share my thoughts. I came across your videos here, had similar feelings. I hope it helps. So yeah, here's a person who saw my videos, and this guy is saying, that he can relate to what I'm going through. And it's interesting that he threw in at the end saying that a lot of people in my comments on the videos on my last video, what a lot of them have said is, hey, just find out what makes you happy and follow your passion. And it's very interesting for me to look at that and realize that what most people are trying to say is just follow your passions, right? Just follow your passions, do what makes you happy. Um, I think many of us are getting sucked into living a life and creating a routine of things that actually don't make us happy. And we're just slaves to the system. We're slaves to what other people say is going to be good for us. Instead of actually just following our own instinct and listening to our own hearts. I know that sounds cliche, but listening to what do you want? It just try to put more energy to focus on doing what you want to do. It's fascinating to think that many of the things that we struggle with can be solved with just that. But yeah, he did actually reinforce a lot of things I said about problem solving, self recognition, self awareness, self reflection, all about yourself, right? Let's see. Uh, all right. So that's about all I have to. There are a few more comments on that video. I'm just not going to read them all. I don't really have much to say as a response to a lot of these. So I hope you guys are enjoying the live stream or have enjoyed it so far. Um, I don't really have much more for you guys. I could end the video um, now, or I could continue on for a moment. But it's been an hour. I should probably end it soon. Um, let's see. What do we got here? I don't know if I'm actually depressed because I don't know what depression is supposed to feel like. Then we have you have us as your friends. Then we have I think I'm depressed, but I'm not going to self-diagnose myself. I think maybe I'm just a person with a pessimistic view on life. Um, okay. Yeah, routines are supposed to work for us. We're not supposed to work for the routine. It's so taxing. I'm enjoying the live stream. I always enjoy your live stream. All right. Thank you, everybody, for all your comments in the chat. They've helped me out a lot. I love the feedback. I think that, one of the things I did want to, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter so much, but one of the things that I wanted to kind of get through in this live stream was I did want to just kind of rattle off all these ideas, but also I want you guys to know that I'm just trying in all of my videos to just get all of my thoughts out and just kind of work through what am I thinking, what am I feeling, um, and just kind of like I hope you guys know that I'm gonna be okay. I do feel overall that I'm getting better, but whether I like it or not, I'm still struggling with my self esteem. Whether I like it or not, I still have the same problems, and I continue to go back to the same feelings that I've had over and over again in my life. And one of my ultimate goals through my videos, through this channel, is to understand more of what's going on and to develop some sort of strategies to overcoming what we're experiencing. And you guys who are watching this, you guys who are subscribed to this channel, are playing a really big role in helping me understand because I get multiple people's perspectives and opinions about everything. And um, I don't have the most scientific way of solving or way of understanding depression. Like, I don't understand depression clinically. I don't understand, like I was trying to touch on like serotonin and dopamine and everything. And even when I tried to talk about that, I was like, I have no fucking clue what I'm talking about when I bring up serotonin, dopamine, and stuff like that, and antidepressants and everything. I just don't know anything about it. So when you're watching my videos, just know that I'm coming from a personal level of what I feel directly, and I'm just trying to like figure out what to do with my life. Um, uh, so let's see. I'm gonna look real quick and just kind of give you guys an idea. I have 2,129 subscribers, so 2,129. And that's awesome because I'm just continuing to grow in subscribers every day. And you know, I'm actually extremely grateful to have this opportunity. Like, to think that I can make any amount of difference in anybody else's life, it's what my dream has always been. Like, when I grew up, I think I recognized at the age of 15, so that's like 6 years ago, I recognized that I was a believer in following my dreams, of making things happen, of becoming somebody who people listen to. And ever since that point, I've been kind of consuming a lot of like self-help, self-improvement, a lot of philosophical, psychological. I've been growing in my understanding of all these topics, and it's really been my goal to be able to share this stuff and explain this stuff and help. Am I the best at it? I would say I'm not even close to being like good at what I do. I just talk openly about my real, honest, authentic feelings. And to some extent, that's all you guys need is to know that you're not alone. And uh, there's so many different things I'm trying to accomplish in my life all at once. So I do tend to over complicate things and overwhelm myself with what I'm trying to do, and I get lost in figuring everything out. So I mean, it is really helpful if you can in your life to be able to break down and distinguish between all the different goals that you have, and then maybe prioritize them, write them down, um, and focus on one thing at a time, because when you try to do so many things at once, it might overwhelm you and you might feel like you can't do anything. You might lose hope in yourself and feel like you're not making progress. Um, Interestingly, I've heard Tony Robbins say this, that progress equals happiness, and you won't be happy in your life unless you see yourself uh, moving towards a goal that you have or feeling like things are getting better. And it's very important that if you want to maintain a healthy level of happiness in your life, of feeling good, that you have to be able to um, recognize when you are starting to feel just overwhelmingly negative, when you feel like you're not doing anything to make progress. And it's so important to be able to recognize what things you actually are making progress at in your life. Because if you just continue to have blinders, if you just continue to ignore where you are making progress, you're going to get trapped in this mindset that nothing is working, that there's no hope for yourself. And I'm telling you, because I've experienced this through my own in my own life, that is the biggest lie that you can tell yourself, is that there's nothing good for you, that there's nothing for you to be thankful for, that you're not making any progress. um that is a lie, because there has to be something. Like, there has to be something, and you have to be able to discover that stuff for yourself. And it might take a lot of time. I'm not saying you're not going to be suffering, throughout your life. Of course, you're going to struggle. You're going to get depressed. You're going to be, at moments, you're going to have bad, feelings about yourself. But that stuff is not going to. What I would like to preach to you right now is like, just because you're going to have times which suck, and you might feel like it's most of the time, that can change. Um, all right, so I'm gonna stop for a minute. But going back to that idea, that progress equals happiness. Once you take away that, like, when you take away the idea that, you're not doing anything in your life to make any progress, you begin to realize that there's really, like, what is the point in doing anything unless it's just to make progress? And I would say that's not really the right way to word it. I apologize. That's kind of bad wording on my point. Um, Shoot. Hold on. I gotta go back on what I just said. Forget about what I just said. I don't know what I'm saying. Let me read your comments. A couple people saying you're enjoying the live streams, and we have the neurological stuff was interesting, and then knowing we aren't alone helps a lot. Listening to you really does help. Unruly says, bye guys, I'm getting sleepy and I'm gonna take a nap. I enjoyed my time and I appreciate your videos because they give me a different perspective. Alright, awesome. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it a lot. I am gonna end the video now just because I think I said everything I wanted to say. Um, I was gonna actually in this video talk about why I don't have friends, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go record a video right now talking about why I don't have friends and break down something that I feel like I realized, and then maybe upload that today or tomorrow. So, alright guys, thank you for watching the video. I'm going to say bye now. I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to upload it to my channel so you guys can watch it if you want to. Um, yeah, so that's it. This is Kenny Stahl Live, and I appreciate all of your comments. Alright, it will be up though, so bye everybody. I'm gonna end the stream right now.